Hey everyone, this is Dream, and today I'm going to continue on with the Mercy positioning guides, and this time we're going to start the Payload series. Now Payload maps are generally very long, so I'm not going to put them all into one video. I'm going to instead do one map per video. So first I want to start off by saying that Payload maps are very different from Assault maps and King of the Hill maps, just because it's more about sustaining your team and pushing the enemy team back so that you have space to move the payload, instead of brute force killing everyone on the enemy team to cap the point. Now generally you want to always have good positioning, but especially for Payload maps, make sure your positioning is on point, because if it's not and someone dies, it really can hold back a push. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking because I know you just want me to get on with the positioning, so I'll go ahead and do that. Now just like every map, I always like to be the last to leave because you never know what's waiting by the front door. It could be a junk trap or sim turrets. Mercy dying is really bad, especially if she's the first pick. So make sure that you're the last one to leave. And then right when you walk out, there's a giant bus blocking the choke. I don't really think the enemy team holds up here anymore, but if they do, the bus will definitely protect you from it. Now whether to go left or right, left is definitely better because tight angles, of course, because you see, you walk here and this wall is already protecting you from the enemy team, who is probably holding right around here. And if you're on the right side, this is definitely a wider angle, and they'll immediately see you and start shooting at you, and you could potentially die. Even if there is a large health pack here, it's kind of a bait for you to kind of walk across, because you could probably die once you reach over there. Now you go on the left side, and I usually like to hold here because you're not able to take any damage unless someone comes up over this wall and does damage to you, or if there's an enemy here or back here. But usually they won't be back there if my team is already pushed onto the choke. Sometimes there'll be enemies in here, so you have to really watch out for that, because that is all that you can see while you're supporting your team from here. You can see this side if there's an enemy like a 𝐒𝐸 or something waiting to wall off, and you have this to hide behind if she is right here waiting to wall and, you know, kind of peeking at you. You can hide behind this. And then once your team starts pushing in, it's pretty kind of an open area here where they can see you, but you have this statue, which is what I use, and it doesn't matter where your team goes, whether they want to do a tighter angle or a wider angle. You can heal from both sides using this statue. So you'll see me around the statue a lot, going like this, healing people from each side. I don't like going into this hotel room. I'm never in here because look at how small it is. You could easily die. Even though there's a small health pack, it's a bait. It's not going to be enough to heal you once you start taking damage. So I usually like to stay out and heal who's ever in here, because it's a small room. Your beam is able to reach anyone who's in here. Even if they walk out of the hotel, you're still able to connect to them. And even if they made it completely through, I would never stay in here. I would stay in here for just a little bit, but then I'll kind of fly out over to them and then back to my team. But this is pretty much a room of death, so I don't usually like going in there. Now say that your team has completely pushed onto the point. Now there could be a widow or a soldier up here who you can fly to, but if there isn't and your team starts pushing onto the point, I usually like to stay in here to hide, because there's a health pack here, and there is a little bit of kind of like a cave thingy for me to hide from the enemy team. So I peek out a little bit, heal my team. It's long enough to reach them, probably up until this point. I'm lagging, sorry. So yeah, my beam is long enough to reach them, and then once they're a little bit farther onto the point, that's when I'm able to move on to this car to kind of support them, and I kind of crouch and heal from here. Now if you're able to get up here, whether from a teammate who is already up here, if you just vertical jump your way up here, it is a pretty good spot. The only downside is that if you're healing your team from up here, you're very easily killable because you're kind of just out in the open. You don't really have anywhere to hide unless you do this. But let's say you were an enemy and you saw one Mercy standing here. It would be pretty easy to kill her. So you don't want to stay up there for long. That's why I only take a second to stay up there to regen health, and then I make my way down here. Because this is, even though it's on the same level as them, I still have cover to hide behind. Now once you cap the point, your team's going to want to push forward. And usually it's going to be Mercy who's going to be pushing forward with them to heal. So usually I kind of use this to hide behind. Now if they push up a little bit farther here, I can still connect my beam and kind of do this. And I can still see them through this window. And if they push up even further up here, then I'll use this to hide behind. I don't really find myself in here. But if there's a fight in here, I stay out and heal who's ever here. Now the reason why you won't find me up here is because it's very enclosed, and you know I hate enclosed spaces. You don't know who's in here, and if you start taking damage, you have to back out all the way here to fly out to your team, and you could die by that time. So I don't like this place. I don't like to be here for attack, but it is a good spot for defense, which you'll see later on. Now if the payload starts pushing here, I usually kind of crouch around the payload, or I use this corner to kind of hide behind, or even this corner depending on what's going on. There is a small health pack for you here, and it is pretty safe for you to back up to just get this, because once you walk in here, this wall protects you from who's ever could be over here, and then you kind of peek them real quick if you do, and then you're able to just immediately fly out. So this is a safe health pack to go to. There's not really anybody who plays back here, but if there is, you just have to be careful. Now the payload starts moving up. I kind of use this to hide around, or even the payload. I'll crouch behind the payload, or I'll be in here healing the team. If you have someone who can get you up here on this catwalk, it's also good too. The only thing is that you're also out in the open again, so they could kill you. So if you have to be on the catwalk, make sure you're on this side of the catwalk, because as you can see, you are directly above them, and this walkway is blocking you from them. And I'll show you what that looks like for the enemy team. See, even if you're standing up here, they're not able to get you at all. So make sure you're at least on this side, which I'm always probably around this side if I'm on attack. Once we reach the checkpoint, I'm kind of playing around here even, or maybe even over here. Sometimes I'll even be over here healing the team. Once the payload starts pushing through though, even though there is a large health pack over here, I don't find myself over here, because again, this is a wide angle, and even though you do have cover, it's still pretty dangerous to be over here, to be peeking, because you don't know if there's a widow over here or a widow over here. I just don't like it. So instead of being over there, I'd rather just be here because it's completely safe. Look at all of this cover you get, and you don't get to take any damage standing on this side. So I am always here healing my team, healing who's ever up here, and then using this corner to kind of peek around. I'm not usually over here healing. Sometimes I'll be over here if I have to be. The only reason why I don't want to be here is because there's a large health pack in there, and it's very convenient for the enemy team to just go in and get it. Sometimes there's a roadhog or another enemy in here just kind of guarding this area, and it's very dangerous for you to be on this side. So if I have to be over here, I'm only here for a few seconds. Okay, now if you can get a teammate to help you get up here, it's very, very helpful. If you don't have anyone to help you get up here, you can also vertical jump and get yourself up here. If you don't know how to vertical jump, please check out my video on how to do that. It's on my channel. Now I usually do like to be up here, but if I'm not, I will be playing around here, kind of peeking out to see where the enemies are over here, and looking over here too to see if there's enemies hiding around here. Now if the payload starts pushing a little bit forward, I'll play around this corner and support my team, and if the payload is pushing up a little bit farther forward, I'll be in here supporting my team from back here. And if I do sustain some damage, I have a large health pack right here for me. The only thing that you need to worry about is where the enemies are coming out from, which is this side. And then if they make their way over here, you really need to pay attention to that. But otherwise, if they're not doing anything, then here's a good spot. And only once the payload is around this area is when I do kind of step out, at least here, because if I'm here, the boxes are kind of protecting me from anyone who is coming out of the enemy spawn. And then all I have to pay attention to is right here and right here. But at least I have like at least 1 second before they step out and see me. So I have time to react. So I'll be here healing them. Sometimes too, I can also be back here healing my team on attack even sometimes. But I'm not in here a lot of the time, just for a little bit, because it can be a little bit dangerous. They'll see my beam connected to them and they'll know I'm in here and they're gonna run and kill me. But if I do need a quick spot to hide and people are still respawning and making their way, I'll hide in here just for a little bit. And then out to my team, and then we'll camp the point. Now if I am up here, I am supporting my team, just quickly stepping out, peeking, connecting my beam. Now this box right here is particularly helpful to hide behind from the enemies that are coming out of this door. You do have to be careful being up here because there are people who can come up behind you and kill you, so make sure you're always paying attention to this opening right here. But usually I'm pretty safe up here. I'll support my team, and my beam will be long enough to reach everyone around this area until they start walking on this side, and then I'll just have to drop down. And if I do start taking damage while I'm up there, I can just easily drop down to the rest of my teammates. Alright, now we're doing defense for 𝐒𝐤𝐤. Again, usually we don't really hold up here anymore for defense. I know that many seasons ago we used to do that, but for now we usually hold back around here. So usually for defense, I'll be here supporting my tanks or damage boosting my DPS. Sometimes I'll even peek real quick just to see if anybody is outside of the door heading into the hotel, or if they are in the hotel. If they are, then I'll be able to quickly tell my teammates and then move to the opposite side. Now let's say you're defending and the enemy team starts pushing into us. That's when I kind of move back a little further, making sure I'm at least in between this hotel wall. Because then if the enemy walks in, I'm perfectly hidden from them and they won't see me until I'm stepped out here, or until they step out here, or right here. Now you can also start up on high ground. This is also another option. You can heal and damage boost a Widowmaker or another one of your DPSs up here. And then once they fall back around here, that's when you can fall back in here and heal and damage boost your DPS from here. The only thing is that I don't really find myself up here for too long, because my teammates are going to start taking a lot of damage and it's going to overwhelm the second healer, so I'm going to have to go down and help them out. This is also kind of this is also not a good spot for you to be in, because you are able to be easily seen by everyone on the choke and you could easily get picked and die. So make sure if you are up here that you're up here for just a short amount of time. Sometimes if I'm on the point, I can fly up here. If I have a Widowmaker or a 76 up here, I do fly up here sometimes, just to kind of regen my health a little bit. So I'll kind of support them from here or from here so that I can see if there's anybody coming, making their way up to where my DPS teammate is. And then once I regen my health back, that's when I jump down and help my team. Sometimes I'll play around this phone booth too, because you can kind of see through it, and it also provides some protection as well. So sometimes I can play around here, or sometimes I'll be in here kind of healing and damage boosting people from this area. Now if my team starts pushing up into the enemy team, I'll also use this statue the same way I would use it as on attack. I can heal and damage boost from each side, and I can also hide in here and do the same. And if I do take damage, there's a small health pack for me. I'm already standing on it, so it works the same way. Now let's say the enemy team has capped the point and they're making their way through here, and we're kind of holding up here. I will sometimes be here healing and damage boosting my team. The only downside is that you need to pay attention to what's behind you and also what's above you. People don't really come back this way, but just make sure you pay attention. I feel like usually there's enemies up here looking at you, but they kind of have to really have to step out to kill you. But make sure you're just always paying attention anyways. Sometimes I will be in here as well, healing and damage boosting my teammates. I can easily see them through this glass, and I can also see if there's a Widow or a Hanzo up there trying to kill us. And again, there's a small health pack right in front of me if I do need it. Sometimes if I'm running out late from spawn, I can heal and damage boost my teammates from right here. Again, I'm not really in this area, but there is a large health pack if you need it. Once they start pushing out into here or right there, this is when I use this spot to kind of heal and damage boost my teammates, because no one can really get you unless they're right here. But then again, they have to really step out to kill you. The only thing that you have to really worry about is flankers who make their way all the way around back here to kill you. Now, if you're Valking, this is when I kind of use this area to hang around in to kind of support and damage boost my teammates. A good place for you to land on is right here, because you can still heal and damage boost your teammates all around this area. The only thing they have to watch out for is a Hanzo or a Widow or anyone that can get up here. So make sure you really pay attention to that. But this is a really good spot. Flankers cannot get you except for snipers or any ranged attacker. So that is a good spot. Again, for defense, this is when I would use this area to support my team from. Again, the only worry that you have to be concerned about is a Hanzo or a Widowmaker or anybody that can get up here to kill you. So make sure you pay attention. But I'm usually up here supporting my team, sometimes looking back, and then sometimes I'm in here too, supporting my team, because now I am blocked from anyone who's coming from over here, and then anyone who is coming back from here. So this is good in that sense where I'm on high ground and kind of supporting my team. This is also good if you're trying to hide from a diva bomb, so I'll be in here. Or if you're trying to hide from an EMP, I'm usually in here, and then once they do, then that's when I use my ult and support my team. This walkway right here is really good for defense. You can support your team all along here. Again, your only worry is snipers or ranged attackers, so you have to pay attention to these areas. Now, if you're not up here, you can either play around this corner or around this corner. But this side is a little bit dangerous, because now the enemy has that whole area to themselves, and they can come behind and kill you. So if I'm here, I'm just here for a little bit, and then I eventually fly across. Now, if the payload is like right here, then I would support my team from here. This is a good spot. And then if the payload is coming up here, then I kind of use this spot. If my team is right here, of course, then I use this spot to support them. Make sure you also turn around real quick to just see if anybody is coming up behind you. And then once the payload starts pushing up, that's when I kind of fly over to this area and support my team, because they cannot easily see you. Once the enemy team starts pushing in here, this is when I use the corner right here to support my team. You'll see me here a lot. You wouldn't want to be up here as Mercy, because
heroes never die.
They can easily see you and you can die. If they are over here and they have a ranged attacker, you could die easily. So I would say only a Widowmaker is good up here, and you don't even have to fly up here to heal them. You can just be down here healing them, and then, you know, you won't have to die. So they push in, you can heal from here, or you can heal from here. If your enemy team is right here, you can easily heal from there. I'm not really in this area that much, but I do make use of this from time to time to heal my teammates. I'm not usually back here too. I think this side is probably could also be good for attack. So you could also be here on attack, healing and supporting your team, and you will be safe from the enemy looking at you. This is good for attack. Now, once the enemy team starts pushing here, it's very big open area. There's not really much places for you to hide. So I'm usually in this area by the small health pack, or around these boxes. And then again, for defense, this is a pretty good spot for you to be in, because then you can support whoever is coming onto the point. Now, if you Valkyrie, this is a very good spot for you on attack. You can support and damage boost anyone who is around this area, and you don't have to worry about looking behind you, because this is where your team is coming from, so you really have nothing to worry about. And everyone who's coming out from both sides, they're going to be very concerned about holding the point. Now, if I have to Valkyrie here, I will be here supporting my teammates on this side, because no one can really get you. You have this cover to protect you, and if someone does want to kill you, they have to step out into my team right here to kill me. Okay, now we are on Hollywood. This is also one of my favorite maps. Again, I'm always the last to leave, so you can heal everyone who's going out and then leave. And then I kind of go this way, kind of holding a tighter angle. This can help block me from the enemy team. So I will be walking here, healing my teammates. You have some glass here that you can see through to see if there's enemies in this area. So I will usually be over here, and this is when I can either see if they have a Torb turret here or not, and if there is, then I tell my team so that they can focus it down and kill it. And then once we get to about here, I kind of play around this corner to see what they have. Sometimes they'll have someone up here or someone up here, so I kind of peek out real quick to see if it's safe for me to walk out, and if it's safe, then I walk out. Make sure to use this as some cover from the enemy team who could be shooting me from here. But just have to be careful, because they could take some cheap shots at you up from underneath the car. So I'm kind of here healing my teammates. I don't like to be in here healing my teammates, because sometimes people can spam in here and you can die. But if I do, I'm only here for a short time. But usually I'm here healing my teammates. Then they start pushing in. I will use this wall to heal behind. Once they start pushing in a little bit more, sometimes I'll be here healing my teammates. You just have to be careful for whoever could be up here. Sometimes they'll see us push in and they'll quickly run upstairs and shoot down on you guys, so pay attention to that. Make sure that you play around this corner and heal and damage boost whoever's on the point. Sometimes I'll have, you know, maybe a Winston or Diva who jumps up here, and then that's when I follow them. Now this is a really good spot for you to be on attack if you can get up here, because you can support your entire team from up here. And anyone who comes back from the enemy spawn, they won't know you're up here, because usually they're not running up these stairs to help attack you guys. Usually they'll be running straight through to try to stop anyone who's on the point. But if there is anyone who does run up here, then you can easily fly back down to your team. But this is a really good spot for you to be in. If you can't get up there, this is probably your best bet, this spot here. And then usually when we push into them, they kind of run into this room, because that's where the small health pack is. Everyone wants the small health pack. So they kind of run in there, and that's when I kind of step onto the point and use this wall as my cover. You just have to be careful if an enemy is back here. Now once we kept the point, my team is going to want to push in here to kind of push the enemy back a little bit more. So I won't be in this room, but I'll be out here supporting them. The only thing that you have to be worried about is this little alleyway back here, where the enemy team can quickly step out and shoot you and then run away. So if you do have to support them, make sure you kind of step a little bit to the side so that there's some cover. Or you can just peek real quick and you can be like, hey, there's somebody down in the alleyway, be careful. So we'll be pushing the payload. I will use this to hide behind. And then I'll use this to hide behind. And then once they make it past those doors, then I can either be in this room supporting them where I usually am. I'm not usually on this side, but sometimes I will be. The only reason why I don't want to be on this side is because the enemies have this side. They can easily come in here and kill me. Even though there's a small health pack, it's not enough for me. This side is our side, so I feel much more safer being on that side. So anyways, I will use these boxes to support my team. Also paying attention to the enemy team who could be trying to come through this little alleyway. Once the payload pushes through, I'll use this hay bale to play behind. Sometimes I can peek up and heal too. The only concern that you have hiding here is that if there's a widow up here, she could easily kill you. Sometimes I play in this room too, healing and damage boosting my team. You just have to worry about who is coming behind you, because again, this is the enemy's side. They could come and kill you. I can play over here too, using these hay bales to hide behind and supporting my team. Just have to worry about who's up here on high ground. Now, if you do, Valkyrie, some good spots for you to land on is on high ground. So up here, or right here, or right here, or right here. You just have to be careful about who's on the other high ground. Now, if there's someone else up here, I wouldn't be up here at all. It's very dangerous for you to be up here by yourself. If you're up here with someone else, this is good, because then you can kind of hide behind this and support them while they're either trying to kill the other person on the other side of the roof, or killing the enemies down on the ground. That's the only time she's good here, at least on attack. But yes, you can also heal whoever is down here. Just don't be up there by yourself. If you want to be on high ground but not completely alone up on the roof, you can be in here supporting your team. You can kind of step back in here for some cover too. Once the payload pushes through here, I use this wagon to kind of hide behind, or I usually crouch behind the payload. Just pay attention to this saloon area, or this back area here. Then I kind of play behind this. Now, once you're out here, it gets a little bit more difficult, because now you're completely out in the open here. So usually I could be in this room supporting my teammates, or I can be in here healing and supporting my teammates, or I can use this to heal and support my teammates, or here with my teammates. Once it starts pushing up a little bit further, I don't really find myself here except for maybe grabbing a health pack real quick, but then even then I wouldn't waste my time, because I regen health faster than me making my way over here to heal myself. Once it starts pushing through, I will use this hay bale to kind of hide behind as well, damage boosting and healing my teammates. Now, once you're about here, it's already in your favor, because now you have so much cover. The enemy only gets this little doorway to come out of, and that other little doorway to come out of, and you already have cover here. So all you really have to do is kind of step out this way. Sometimes I'll be in here, because then they won't see you at all. Or you can step a little bit out further this way, which is what I usually kind of do, because who is really going to run all the way around here to come out to kill us? I mean, if they do, they're pretty advantageous, but I don't see that happening. Usually they're going to want to take the quickest way possible to try and hold it, which is going to be this door right here. So I'll usually be over here supporting my team. Once we move through the door, I'll heal around this. Right here is a bit open too. There's not really much places for you to hide except for using the payload. You can also potentially use this to kind of hide around and heal your teammates. You just have to worry about who could be up here trying to kill you guys. But yeah, I usually use the payload until about right here, and then this is when I use this to heal and damage boost from. Then we move through, and I use this. I don't really find myself around back there, but if I do and I need a health pack, I'll grab it real quick and I will support from here. It's this supporting from here is not a good idea because you can be seen and you can be easily killed. So if I do have to heal from here, it'll be for like a quick second before I move here. So I'll support here. Large health pack here for everyone. I can support everyone here and around here. I can also kind of step out here. Now once we get to about here, you can either hold from this side, which I would say is more safer because I feel like this is also the enemy side. You can also support them from up here. For Valkyrie, sometimes you can even be up here supporting your team, and no one can really get you because they'll be on the other side, and for them to really kill you have to come all the way up here to kill you, or they have to come into your team to kill you, and they're not going to make that effort to come and kill you. So this is a good spot to be. The only thing is that once they start pushing the payload a little bit forward, then you can't see them and you have to drop down. Now once you're in this area, there's really not much places for you to hide. You can try hiding here and healing your teammates using this as cover. Sometimes I will be on this side supporting my team, but there's not really that much places for you to hide. So sometimes on defense, I'll have a teammate who's standing out here because they want some early ult charge. So they will ask for a damage boost. So you quickly damage boost them, and once they're done doing that, then that's when you kind of back off here. Kind of using this wall as some cover, just be careful about who could be coming in here to do damage. So I'm kind of here for a while, supporting my team until they kind of back out a little, and then I'm usually playing around this wall because no one can see me or do damage to me except for, again, someone who is in this room. So make sure you pay very close attention and always be moving. And if one of your teammate dies here, you can easily res. Just step out a little so you can get their orb, and then that's when you back here and are able to do a quick safe res. This is when you need to pay close attention to your hearing, because that's when you're able to hear someone who has potentially come behind to flank your team. Now once the enemy team starts pushing into us, I kind of go into this room, or I kind of step out back here to support my team. Sometimes I'll be in here too, supporting my team. And then sometimes I'll be back here too, or back here, just depending on the situation. Now for defense, you being up here is not a good idea at all, because if they come in, they're going to easily see you, and you could die. But if you do have a teammate up here who is shooting at them, and you want to be up here to support them, you have to play a little bit down here. Because your beam is still long enough to reach them, you just won't be easily seen by the enemy team, because you have this much cover. Okay? Just pay attention to any flanker who is back here. So once they cap the point, your team is holding here. I could be right here supporting my team. I have to play behind my Rhine shield at this point, or I can use this 𝐒𝐤𝐤 too, supporting my team. So I could be here healing them, or here healing them. Once they start pushing into us a little more, I'll be over here healing them, and then I'll use this, healing them. Best places for you to be on defense is definitely the high ground. This is definitely where you should be. If you can get up here with another DPS, definitely be up here. It's very, very strong for you guys to be up here. You can fly back and forth to support your team too. So when you do Valkyrie, high ground is your best friend, so make sure you land up here or up here. It's also all good. Here too if you really want. I use this as well for some cover if I'm supporting my team. They keep pushing in on us. I don't really find myself in here because it's a very wide angle. I don't like to step out like this and heal my team. I would rather be on this side and heal and support my team. Just worry about whoever is coming into the saloon or whoever is coming behind us. So support them there. Sometimes I will use this to support my team. But that's only if the payload's like around here. That's when I'll kind of jump around and support them. But once they make it through here, there's not really much you can do. Once they're up here, you should wait to hold over here. Once they push it through, I like to be over here supporting my team, because then I can support them, making use of this little wall, supporting them here and here. I wouldn't want to be here, because the enemy team can walk for free here and kill me. But at least if I'm here, I have a large health pack, so I can support them from here. And then once they start pushing through, that's when I hold over here. Again, this is not a good spot to be in, because even though you can hide from here, it's a wide angle. They can shoot you from here or walk over here and shoot you and you can die. Once they start pushing through, this is pretty much the enemy side right here, which I don't want to be. So I'm going to be on this side. They start pushing through. I'm going to be out here supporting my team. Sometimes if the payload is right here, I like to be here supporting my team, because then I have this to hide behind. Just pay attention to anyone who could be coming up behind you. So this is a good spot to be. Or even here. You can support your team if they're right here. You can use this too. If you decide to come out this way, you can use this trailer as a way to heal and damage boost your teammates, or get a quick res off. If you do Valkyrie,
heroes never die.
This is a good spot to land on, or if you can get up here without Valkyrie, this is a good spot to support your team, because no one can really get you unless they come up here to kill you, or if they shoot you from over here. I'm usually up here kind of flying around supporting my teammate, using this for cover too. But yeah, I think I've covered everything I wanted to for these two maps. There will be more videos coming in for the other maps. Just be sure to subscribe to me so you don't miss out on them. I really appreciate everyone who's been leaving comments that you really enjoy these videos and that they've helped you a lot. I really appreciate it. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!